Hi guys! So today I thought I'd jump on here quickly just to do something a little bit different. So my previous videos have been about topics and discussions, whereas I thought today we could sit down and get to know me a bit more because I'm a narcissist. That's a joke. But no, I thought it'd be quite fun, as this is my channel, to sit down and get to know me a bit more, and I thought instead of doing standard question and answer sort of videos, we do something slightly different. So I went onto Google and I searched would you rather questions and found the hardest would you rather questions on the internet. So we are answering those today, and I'd love to know what your answers are too, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, whatever you really think. And I'm also in my workout clothes right now. I am going for a run in a bit, but it's raining really badly right now and it's really windy and I don't really feel like getting blown about too much. So I have 10 would you rather questions. I hopefully won't spend too long in this video talking about them, but of course you know I ramble, and I just think it'd be really fun to really delve into my psyche of what I would actually do in these situations. And I will be reading them off my phone just so you know why I'm looking away from you when I'm reading the question. So the first one is, if you were reborn in a new life, would you rather be alive in the past or the future? Now I think this is quite interesting because obviously the past has happened. That's why it's the past. But at the same time, with me anyway, there's so much going on in the world right now with climate change and diseases and everything else, that being born into the future and then having to live, say, average 80 years, a few decades or hundreds of years down the line, is a bit more scary for me, because it's like, oh, but what if the world does end, or what if there is worldwide hunger or whatever. So for me personally, I think I'd rather live in the past, just to be able to experience it. I think this is a standard for people my age, because people who are older than me do talk about the decades before them, but I was born in 95 and I've always been obsessed with like 80s and 70s stuff, so I absolutely adore 80s movies and some that creep into the 70s as well, and I love 80s music, and it would be so fun to live those years as a tween or a teenager and be able to go to the movies and see all the, well, I'd be too young for these, but like the slashers for the first time, or see Jurassic Park in the cinema or whatever. I think it'd be so fascinating. So if I could be reborn, I'd want to be born in the past, but only a couple of decades earlier, so maybe the 70s or the late 60s, like my parents' age, just to be able to experience things like that back then, because I think it'd be so fascinating. Would you rather lose the ability to lie or believe everything you're told? Now, personally for me, I would rather lose the ability to lie. I think I'm quite an honest person anyway. I have tact, so I know the difference between telling someone if an outfit makes them look fat or saying to them, I'm not sure about that one, how about this one? So I think losing the ability to lie wouldn't be too much of a scary thing, especially at my age. If I was like 16 and I was going out to house parties every weekend and like sneaking out and stuff, I wouldn't need it, but I'd prefer the ability to lie more, because otherwise they get you in a lot of trouble. Whereas at my age now, I don't really do any bad things. So for example, I'm quite good. So when I tell someone I'm having this is the stupidest example, but when I tell someone I'm having this for dinner, I don't then go get a takeaway and lie that I said I had a salad. I do have a salad. And so it's little things like that. Usually when I lie, it's about things that I know would hurt someone else's feelings, so I twist the truth a bit to make sure that they know how I feel, but in a way that doesn't harm them or how they're feeling. So, and I think it'd be terrifying to believe everything you're told. Like if someone came up to you and said, oh, there's a meteor shower tomorrow and one of them's going to hit Earth at 7:30 in the evening, I'd be sitting in my flat freaking out thinking I'm going to die at 7:30, when that's not true. I mean, it could be, touch wood, it's not, but it's probably not true. It's just someone making something up and knowing that I'll believe it. So I would just live my life in fear if that was the case. So yeah, I'd much rather never be able to lie again. Would you rather experience the beginning of planet Earth or the end of planet Earth? Now, what I don't understand about this question is, are you alive? So for example, if planet Earth ended in 10 years, for example, I'll hopefully still be alive. So then I will experience it, but it will be terrifying because I'll be alive. Now, if I could watch it as an outside observer, I think it would be really interesting. But then at the same time, I think personally, I would rather experience the beginning of planet Earth because I like knowing things. One of my biggest fears is the fear of the unknown. So knowing when the world's going to end, if it was in my lifetime, would be terrifying. But knowing how planet Earth was created and what really happened, whether it was the Big Bang or creation or whatever, it'd be so fascinating to finally have the answer. And yeah, no one would believe you because they'd be like, how do you know that? But it would give me peace knowing actually there is a God, or actually, no, it was the Big Bang, it's all science. It all happened by chance, there was no plan in place, we're just here by some chance that everything worked out. So I think I go back to the start of planet Earth, not to the end, because it would be terrifying if you're like, take me to the end of planet Earth, and it's like 2032 and you're like, oh no. I would not enjoy that, especially watching everyone like die. Oh no, not about that, not about that life. Would you rather be the funniest person in the room or most intelligent? Now for me, I personally would rather be the funniest person in the room, but I'll explain why. I'm incredibly shy. So if you put me in a situation where I don't know people, or say we go to a party and I only know you and everyone else are people that you know but I've never met them before, so it's like, oh, this is weird, I don't know how to talk to anyone. I think being able to make people laugh and crack a joke and have fun would be a super easy, great way to be able to actually talk to people, because I know if I do try and make a joke, if it doesn't land, I'll go into my shell and be like, oh my god, never tell a joke again. But if it's funny, I'll be like, oh look, I'm starting to get confidence. And so I think being the funniest person in the room would be a lot better than most intelligent, because depending on the situation, if you are at a party, people don't really want intelligent conversation, they want to have a good time. And so I'd like to be remembered as the person that made people laugh and made people feel included and enjoyed myself, rather than being the one trying to outsmart people by explaining politics to them or whatever. So yeah, I definitely go down the funny route. Would you rather reverse one decision every day or pause time for 10 seconds every day? This is a hard one. I don't really know how to answer it, because when people ask if you could go back in time, would you change anything? I say no. Because everything that has happened in my life has made me the person I am today, and I am happy with the person that I am today. I'm obviously still trying to improve myself, but the person I am today, if a younger version of me met me, she would be like, you know, this is good. You've done well, like, well done, I'm looking forward to my future. I wouldn't really want to reverse anything, but to pause time for 10 seconds, I think could be quite useful, especially if you had to make a hard decision. Really, if you've ever done a plank, 10 seconds is a long time. So say you had to make a choice and you had two alleyways. I look at it as like multiverses. So if you say yes to this plan, you go down this path. If you say no, you go down this path, and your life will be changed based on what you say. And so to have extra time to just stop the world and really think about what is the most important, what will benefit you best, and what will help you in the future, really, I think would really be beneficial and would help me more, because I'm very bad at making decisions. So if I just had that extra little bit of time to be able to make the decision, it could make the world of difference for me, and I won't get so panicked or so stressed. So yeah, I definitely take the 10 seconds pause time over reversing an action that I've already done. And this one kind of leads on from the last one, which is, would you rather continue your life or restart it? Personally, as I've just said, because I'm quite proud of where I am now, I'd want to continue my life. I'm happy with my life. Obviously things can be improved, and I think if I did go back to restart my life with all the knowledge that I have now, me and my friends talk about it a lot, in that if we had the knowledge we have now and went back to school, we'd probably be like A-star students, because we'd have the drive to put it into our schoolwork and our school lives, and we want to do the best that we can. And so I think if I had all the knowledge I have now, maybe if I did go back and restart, my life would be better. I would be making more money or have an actual house instead of renting. I don't know. But with how I am now, I am happy with my life, with where I am and how it's going. And honestly, I'm happy to continue it. I don't want to restart and lose everything that I've done, because I've been through a lot. Like Parshona's had some scars happen in her life, but as I said, they made me who I am today. I'm a lot more wise. I'm a lot more understanding of other people too. I communicate a lot better with people. And I think if I restarted that and lost all that progress, it would be a disservice to the life I'm living now, because really it's not a bad life in the slightest at all. Would you rather go back to the past and meet your loved ones who passed away, or go to the future to meet your children and grandchildren to be? I would want to go to the past and meet my loved ones who have passed away, because I think when someone passes, you realise all the things you never said, or you realise that actually you didn't know them, especially when people pass away when you're younger, because I think when you're teenager and younger, you can be quite selfish and think about you and your future and who you are, and you kind of forget that the people around you also have experiences and lives that you know nothing about. So as I've gotten older, I've spent more time sitting down with relatives and just asking them questions about their life and what they did when they were my age and how things were different, because it's so fascinating. And I think it's a shame that everyone has their own life, and you can just not know, you could be related to someone and not know a thing about them apart from the things that have impacted you. So I'd love to go back to my deceased loved ones and just have a chat, just sit down with them, have some biscuits and a drink and just chat with them and learn about them more and know who they are and what like parts of them have molded me as well. And I think as well, there's never enough time to say what you want to say, because I think people are so worried of how other people will react, so you hold things back and then one day they're gone forever and you don't have the chance to say anything again. Like, you can never tell them you love them again or anything. And so I think it'd be so nice just to sit down and let them know. I mean, they know, I believe they know anyway, but let them know that you do love them and that you care for them and you're so grateful that they were a part of your life. And I think that's so much more important, to be able to not only have that closure for yourself, but for them as well, to know that you are thinking of them always and you love them always. Because I think sometimes people can forget that there's people around you and they do love you and they do care about you. Would you rather read minds or accurately predict the future? If we think about it in life, so accurately predict the future, I could say I'm going to win £1 million next week and boom, it happens. But at the same time, if you were able to read minds, you could be in an argument with someone and being able to read their mind would make you realise either how pathetic the argument is, because most arguments are down to miscommunication and stupidness, or you can get to know what people really think about the situation. Honestly, I think I'd rather be able to read minds just so I can assess situations better. So I might say something to someone that they take offence to, but they don't tell me they take offence to it. But then if I can read my mind and they're like, ouch, that hurt, I can be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it that way. I meant it like this. And so you can resolve things easier as well. So I definitely think that reading minds would be more beneficial to me. Would you rather visit 100 years in the past or 100 years in the future? So 100 years in the past would be 1920. So this is the time between the First and Second World War. So I think it could be fascinating to go back and see that from a modern day perspective. But also it would be horrific to see as well, because it is such a time of destruction and disaster and sadness and grief, that to go back and actually see it firsthand could be really damaging and really quite scary and not something that you actually want to experience firsthand. Whereas 100 years in the future being 3020? 2120. I can't do maths. Being 2120, it could be fascinating to see where we are, and actually with everyone talking about climate change and disease and all that, see actually where we are in that time. Are we still on Earth? Has the Earth been destroyed by climate change? Has climate change actually had any impact? Like, it would be fascinating to go into the future and actually see where we are, and then you could take that learnings back to you in the present and say, okay, in the future the ice caps are gone, like they're gone, so what can we do now? And then you could make a change. And the final question, would you rather have a photogenic face or Photoshop skills? Now, I want to do a video in the future about Facetune and editing photos, because I too edit my photos, not to a drastic extent. I did it once and I'll never do it again. I would rather have a photogenic face because, yes, Photoshop skills are great and you could use them on anything that's not your face. You could use it on nature and artistry and whatever. But yes, you might look like this in a photo. If we take it back to the whole vain side, you might look like this in a photo, but then people will see you in real life. It's almost selling people a lie. And it also hinders your confidence as well, because you look at that photo of you that you've edited and think, why don't I look like that? That's me. But that's not me. That's the me that I want to be. And usually in terms of things that people change, they're things you have to change through surgery and through other aspects like that. Like, it's not down to healthy eating and working out. It's down to actually having your body altered. And I think that's such a damaging way to look at things. And so I think self-confidence comes from you being confident in yourself, obviously. But if you're editing your photos, then there's clearly something that you don't have confidence in. And that could be something as small as me not liking the wrinkles under my eyes, or trying to hide a double chin if I take it from a certain angle. And these things are things you can't change. Of course, I can get rid of the double chin if I worked out more, but in terms of wrinkles and stuff, they're just a part of life. I'm not going to go get eye bag Botox or whatever it's called. And so I think there's a deeper part to this question of, if you are editing your photos just to enhance yourself a little bit, I don't see any issue with that. I don't see a problem. But if you're editing your photos to look like a whole new person with a different shaped nose or a thinner face or whatever, then I think there's more to it, and that's not healthy. Other people will look at these photos and think, wow, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful, she's this, she's that, then possibly see you in person and think that's not even the same person. So I would much rather be photogenic anyway, because then you don't have to edit yourself, and you can look at pictures of yourself where you do look good and think, wow, look at me, I'm pretty, you know. But that's more me. And so I do want to do a whole video on selfies and how I edit mine and why I edit mine, and what social media is doing to people, not just women, but men's perception of themselves and of society's beauty, because it's scary, especially as more young people are getting social media and following influencers and seeing their perfect bodies and their toned abs and their big butts and whatever else, and thinking, why don't I look like that? Because the truth is, they don't look like that. I hope you enjoyed this video. It got a bit deep at the end, but yeah, I'd love to know what you would pick out of the two options, and I'll see you next time. Bye!